Hey guys, today is gonna be the why Greninja got banned from Pokemon Gen 6 OU. Fun fact actually, the it wasn't actually banned during X and Y. It was banned a little bit after ORAS, which I'll explain. Um, I'll explain later. For now, so what you need to know is Greninja had access to the ability Protean. This literally just changes its type to the move that it uses. So since it's like water dark, say let's give it Hydro Pump, which is the move that uh, every fucking set had. uh, then Hydro Pump it would turn it to just a pure water type, and it would always the protein would always activate before the move was used. Keep this in mind. Because of that, um, there's two applications to this. One, obviously, you always have stab, and two, um, his dark type weaknesses go away, and he could play around with shit like with other stuff to like change its typing. The usual set was Life Orb. It ran max speed, max special attack. Let's just give it some HP, and then it was timid nature. Oh fuck, there we go. Timid nature. So this set right here had Dark Pulse, Ice Beam, and where's Extrasensory? Extrasensory, here it is. So it had this stuff right here, and essentially, Extrasensory was like meant for like hitting like so the main mon that was like uh that you would see else in this tier was Keldeo. So Keldeo was actually a mon that was interchangeable with Greninja on teams, and Keldeo was used very often. It was used quite a lot actually. In early XY, especially yeah, during the entirety of XY, and even like it was used a decent amount in ORAS. I think later on in ORAS, obviously it wasn't used as much, but it was definitely used a lot in XY and stuff. So Extra Sensor was really good against that, but obviously there were other like fighting types that like you'd run into here and there that like Extra Sensor is also good against, and because of that, like you're using a fire type against Greninja, and then he just changes to a psychic type. He either OHKOs you or fucking does a shit ton of damage. It's like, oh shit, well, now it's a psychic type. Was I supposed to use knockoff against Greninja or something? Like the fuck? And then obviously you have Dark Pulse as well. And then Ice Beam, this just hits everything. Like it hits the laddies, it hits the fucking Thunderous, Incarnate, which was used quite a lot. Prankster Thunderwave was a really good way of just checking stuff. It hit Garchomp, it hit Lando. Lando Incarnate actually was in the tier at this time as well. Um, yeah, yeah, it just hits like anything that was in the air basically. Torn T as well, shit like that. And the only checks this fucker had was um was obviously Chansey Blissey because special attacker. I'm not gonna talk about that because Chansey Blissey were not really used that much. I think like we saw like some Chansey on stall teams, if I remember. But those teams were like a very big minority. It was Azu and Clef. Azu and Clef were the main two checks. Um, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, so this set right here could also run like Hidden Power Grass or Hidden Power Fire over Dark Pulse here. Hidden HP Fire would hit like Ferrothorn mainly, and HP Grass would hit like Azu or like other water types. So yeah, Rotom Wash as well. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It would also Rotom Wash. That was a big one. I just remembered. Yeah, cause Rotom Wash was also decently popular. It devolved. It had bulk. It had a good typing with Levitate, and then it could Will-O-Wisp, Paint Split, Volt Switch shenanigans. Yeah. Um, so Azu and Clef were like the main checks to this fucker. Like Azu against HP Grass was in the greatest, but the majority of the time they did have Dark Pulse. But yeah, um, so you have to run specially defensive Clef. I know that sounds weird because like people don't really use specially defensive Clef nowadays. But yeah, people have to run specially defensive clef to deal with Greninja. And they don't, I don't know. I guess when Greninja's gone, it's like, oh, we can just use physical defense now and just shit on everyone. But that's besides the point here. So these were the two only checks really. I think I actually played around. I was like, okay, keep in mind I started competing like midway through Black and White 2, like 20 it was 2012. Yeah, 2012 I started competing, and I was like a 11-year-old kid, no 10-year-old kid, and so I actually put U-turn on like one of my Greninja sets, and it was like, bro, it was fire. Yeah. That's besides the point. So you'd also see like Dark Pulse replaced with spikes, and this was very interesting. So like because of this, obviously it gave you the immunity against electric moves, and also you just got hazards like the fuck, and then like sometimes it's like, oh, I think Azu or Clef is gonna come in. I'm gonna just set up spikes and switch, like yeah. So that was basically the case, and this thing was a giant menace in the fucking in the fucking game because it had coverage to deal with literally almost every mon in the whole fucking tier. Um, you could only run Azu Colette to check this fucker, and it was like maybe we should ban Greninja. And then ORAS came out, and he got this move, Gunk Shot. And people were like, huh, yeah, I think we should ban him because now he can kill Azu and Clef. So that was quite literally the reason why, because like it was like because people people were Blissey Clef Blissey Chansey is usually not worth it to run on your team, and then like when people saw that Azu was just there. I mean, Azu and Clef were just getting killed by gunk shots. It's like, well, shit, we got no answer to Greninja now. Nothing checks Greninja now. We have to, we'd have to fucking send this shit to Ubers. So yeah, it was way too good in fucking OU because it just killed everything. And then it had two checks. And then when ORAS came out, this thing had no checks. So they were like, fuck, we had to send this thing to Ubers. And it wasn't even that great in Ubers. It was like it had like a niche, it's like a shadow sneak spike setter suicide lead fucking shit, dude. Like, but in OU, this thing would just would just OHKO mons, kill mons, and then like sometimes you just couldn't even damage it back because of Protean, because it would just switch to Iping to something that was good against you. So it's like, oh fuck. And and it could set hazards occasionally if it wants to, like insane mon. So yeah, this fucker got banned. Um, so I'm gonna show you guys the other thing. So like something that was used. So Landorus Eye was used when Greninja was a thing, but it was also just like people kind of sometimes would just sub it into their like team for Greninja after Greninja got banned, because they're like, hold on a second, this guy's also really fucking fast. 101 speed is really fucking crucial. Like you guys know how Garchomp is fast because it's 102 speed. It's just two above 100 base speed because a lot of Pokemon have 100 base speed. Yeah, same case for Landorus. Since it's got that 1 point above, it outspeeds everything that's in the 100 base speed tier. And because of that, Lando was fucking fast. Lando is fast. So, so obviously this was sheer force, and obviously this was also life orb. Do more damage. Duh. And then you had Earth Power, Psychic, Focus Blast. I wasn't the biggest fan of using Lando Eye just because I don't like running Focus Blast. And then it was either knockoff or Stealth Rocks. So, and basically, um, if we're doing knockoff, then it was Naive Nature. Uh, so we do this, and essentially, you just fucking like this thing was like Greninja in the sense where like not many things really checked him, and he kind of just hurt a lot of mons. Like, okay, to be fair, the Lotties did kind of check him. I'm saying kind of because they still got kind of fucked by knockoff, and then obviously Blissey, Chansey checked it, but that was like it. I don't know, maybe like the small amount of people who use Gliscor in their stall teams. Yeah, Gliscor does. Um, it does do well as long as you don't get your Toxic Orb knocked off first. If you're not running knockoff on your Lando, then you do get kind of fucked by stall. I'll admit that. Um, Besides that, like this thing was a fucking menace. But yeah, it did run stealth rock, and then it was actually it was timid nature. If you had stealth rock, uh, yeah, and this thing was a fucking menace because it was sheer force life orb, dude. It was literally just Nido King, but it hurt harder. It hurt harder, and it was faster. Like what? And then you also gotta take into account that like um there was also like other sets. Like there was sweeping sets. Like one was a rock polish set. So it was this right here, and then sometimes it would like take off no, okay, yeah, yeah. Now I remember. So it was a rock polish set, and they actually had knockoff on it. And then this move was like psychic focus blast, or sometimes even sludge wave. And this was meant to just fucking murder uh fairy types. Um, and then there was the final one that was a combine set. So the combine set consisted of the three standard moves that you saw before, which is psychic focus blast, and um I wasn't too much of a fan of this set. Like I think I like Rock Polish more, even though I think Common was used more. But I like Rock Polish more because you could just set up one Rock Polish and then straight up just outspeed everything on the opponent's team, even like Choice Scarf Mons, and then you could just fucking you could just kill them all. You just kill them all. It's that simple, and you just OHKO them all, especially when with, like hazards up, they just get chipped down. You just kill them all after one Rock Polish is set up. Compared to Combine, I'm not really a fan of the comments just because I know I wasn't really that much of a long-lasting mon. I guess like the +1 boost was like good in, like against like certain matchups. And then you could just yeah, obviously it was good in like a good amount of matchups obviously, but like besides that, like I don't think it was too consistent in my opinion. Obviously rock polish is like I don't know, any sweeper is not the most consistent usually. That's why that's what kind of balances them. They have to waste a move on like on a sweeping move, and then like usually if they can't get the sweeps off, then they don't really do much. That's how most sweepers are balanced. But and it was kind of the same from Lando, even kind of not. The thing about Lando was since you were just afraid of getting O-code by this fucker, you had to switch a lot of the times they brought the Lando in. You had to switch. And then he can get the combine off and yeah, do damage. So like in theory, yes, I would say like combine is better than rock polish, and that's why it was used more. But honestly, I just like rock polish more. I just like that's it's like I'm also a guy like back in like Gen 5 OU who like when I used Thunderous Therian, I used whatchamacallit. I used agility. I used agility over substitute because I just liked setting it up and then just straight up thunder, para hacks, and destroying my opponents. But that was just me. That was just me. Oh yeah, so Orlando was like like he kind of filled in Greninja's role, but also he was just always super busted as well. And they're like, okay, this fucker's gotta go. So they sent him out. Um, I don't really need to explain why this was banned. We could do Mega Mawile. Yeah, let's do Mega Mawile. So Mega Mawile. This would run Intimidate. And basically it got huge power after evolving. Okay, so like there you go. I'm trying to find the EV spread right now. I can't seem to find it. So we'll just go with this one. No, this is Baton Pass. You. Yeah, I don't think this was it, but this was. Oh wait, this was a very similar move set. So it had a very similar move set to this. It was actually, I believe it was Iron Head. Don't take my word for this. I believe it was Iron Head over knockoff, And basically, it had another set. I can't remember what it was. Um, I can't remember what the other set was. Uh, but this was a set that most people used. It was really bulky. And long story short, it had a monster attack stat, so you would run like just a bunch of bulk and have like adamant nature, max attack, and this thing would just like OHKO a ton of shit, and then like and then at certain points you could just SD up and then sucker punch, and you could just fucking kill everything. And there was nothing like that could really go in against it. Like nobody really like there wasn't really any mons that were used that could like take this thing on at the time. I guess like later in ORAS, I think Ferrothorn was picking up in usage, shit like that. But like we're talking about like a meta back in the day where like it was very hyper offense, and then because of that, none of those mons could really take +2 sucker punch. So that was pretty much it really. But yeah. So Mawile obviously did get checked more. There was like more obviously like more defensive checks against this thing and like shit like that, and like in Gen 7, and because that's OU in that tier. And actually, funnier enough, in what's OU in this tier, Mega Metagross, is Ubers in it's Ubers in Gen 7. So we can talk about that real quick. So Mega Metagross, this thing went from OU. I think I ran Bullet Punch, Thunder Punch. Yeah, I ran Bullet Punch, Thunder. I ran the Bullet Punch, Thunder Punch set, and yeah, Hammer Arm was the way to go in Gen 6. I think in Gen 7 it's EQ though. If I check this real quick, yeah, it's EQ. Um, Rock Slide. Oh, that wasn't really an OU thing, yeah, but that wasn't an OU thing for sure. No, yeah, that's definitely one of those Uber sets. Rock Slide was probably there for some Uber's mod or something. Yeah, so I used this is the set I guess that people use the most. It makes sense, I guess. Ice Punch is for like Lando and shit, and then Headbutt's just easy stab. I like Thunder Punch, Bullet Punch more. I like the Bullet Punch just like if something was like trying to set up on you, you could just kill a Bullet Punch after you like chip it. And then there was Thunder Punch because I just like hitting the bulky waters with it. I feel like if to take care of like the other mons that were weak to Zen Headbutt and Ice Punch, I had like just other mons in my team to take care of that for instead. Metagross, I feel like Metagross had more like late game prevalence and just like a power to just solo teams with the Thunder Punch, Bullet Punch. So that's why I run that instead. Um, but yeah, this thing was obviously really bulky. Can I hold on? Let's so you can see its actual stats. So here you go. So obviously this Spadef. Oh, it's physical defense, whatever. Same tomato. And then you have 145 base attack with tough claws and a 700 base stat total. Insane, right? And look at that. 150 defense, 110 Spadef, 80 HP is fine. So yeah, this thing was bulky as shit. The only problem though was Gen 6 steel typing did get nerfed. It's still obviously the best defensive typing in the game to this, but like um it got nerfed because it resisted like everything. It resisted like half the typings in the fucking game. But yeah, so they made it like no longer resist stuff. Dark, Dark was the main one for me because now because that means Mega Metagross has a darkness weakness now. Has a weakness to dark type moves like knockoff especially, um, which wasn't the case before. So yeah, it was dark, and Ghost also plays a bit of a part as well. So like, but not as much. It's mainly the dark weakness, like dealing with like Bisharp or like knockoff and shit like that. Weavile as well. That's also something that I liked about Bullet Punch. It just beat Weavile as well. But yeah, so because of that, I feel like that's the only reason why Mega Megaros wasn't Ubers in this generation. The big thing that like made it much better in Gen 7 was that Mega Pokemon. Okay, so I'm not sure. So just to take it down, let me quickly explain in case you don't know this fact. So Mega Pokemon Gen 6, when they Mega Evolve, the turn that they Mega Evolve, they still have the original Pokemon speed stat. So they still had Mega Metagross still has a 70 base speed stat. In Gen 7, it was changed to where the turn they Mega Evolve, they actually get their new speed stat, the one that they get when they become a Mega. So on the first turn that it attacks, it has a 110 speed stat instead of 70. Uh, and this was really important. Like if you wanted to like outspeed like fucking stuff like Timid Heatran and shit like that. Um, but also Mega Metagross just had really good matchups against stuff in the meta compared to like stuff before, and it had like it paired up with like it paired up with the new mons as well really well as well. It just got like buffed. Like you thought that would get power creep, but actually other mons got worse, and because of that, the other mons that got worse that like checked Mega Metagross. Um, because of that, it got made Mega Metagross better, and Mega Metagross had good matchups against new mons that came into the game, like Tapu Lele, for example. Tapu Lele like was running a Steam Train. Uh, it got decently better after Mega Metagross got banned. Um, yeah, because like Mega Metagross just hard checked this fucker, and yeah, like um, overall, Mega Metagross it's so weird because like Mega Mama was banned in Gen 6 and Mega Metagross was OU, and then it was the other way around in Gen 7 because of like how power creep shit worked, and like the new Mega speed stat change thing happened. Yeah, so like yeah, Pokemon's pretty like unique. It's pretty wild how stuff can change of like the smallest shit, especially like the like how like Rhydon like replaced Golem in like uh in Gen 1 OU RBYOU because they found out that normal types couldn't get paralyzed by Body Slam. Like what? Anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Maybe just going off a little bit tangent about like Pokemon, some Pokemon history, competitive history. So hope you guys enjoy. It's Skynet out. Peace.